Sanbonani, Molweni, Dumelang, Absheni, and warm greetings to you all. Welcome to the 2021 Virtual Autumn Graduation Ceremony for the Durban University of Technology. My name is Zwakele Ngubane, and I'm the Director of Advancement and Alumni Relations at DUT. I would like to welcome our esteemed Chancellor, Ms. Nonkululeko Nyembezi, our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Thandwa Mthembu, our Deputy Vice Chancellors, the Registrar, Executive Deans, and members of faculty. Welcome to our graduates, their parents and guardians, family and friends, supporters and funders. I must also acknowledge my valued colleagues from the academic, administration, and support sectors of our university, and welcome to you and thank you for watching this broadcast of the virtual graduation ceremony today. As you know, the COVID-19 pandemic continues to disrupt our lives, and keeping with the public health guidelines and restrictions related to events, we have decided to continue hosting our graduation ceremonies online. We will resume our traditional graduation events as soon as it is safe for us to assemble. On a positive note, DUT was recently ranked in the top 5 of all South African universities in the 2021 World University Rankings and rated in the top 500 globally. DUT is also the #1 university of technology in South Africa. We're extremely grateful and proud of our students and staff who continue to lead, succeed, and excel as we strive to live the values and principles of our Envision 2030 strategy. In a short while, our Chancellor will constitute this virtual congregation and share her opening remarks with you. This will be followed by the conferring and awarding of certificates, diplomas, and degrees in the Faculty of Arts and Design. Now, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, allow me the honor to announce that we are very, very proud that the distinguished and legendary author and playwright, Professor Zanemvula Kizito Katsheni Mda, also known or popularly known as Zakes Mda, has accepted the nomination for an honorary Doctor of Philosophy in Visual and Performing Arts in the Faculty of Arts and Design at DUT. Now, the honorary Doctor of Philosophy will thus be bestowed upon Professor Zakes Mda at this virtual graduation ceremony. We are very pleased to be associated with such a literary giant and would like to welcome Professor Mda to the DUT family. The names of all graduates will appear on the graduation roll. The graduate names will scroll on screen, and we will highlight those who have graduated cum laude and graduates who have earned the Dean's Merit Award. The graduation roll for all 6 faculties will be available on the DUT website, which is www.dut.ac.za. After the graduate names have been presented to you on screen, our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Thandwa Mthembu, will then deliver a short address, which will be followed by the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa. The Chancellor will then dissolve the congregation, which will signify the end of this virtual graduation ceremony. Congratulations to all our graduates. You're now a part of the DUT alumni, and we look forward to your continued support and engagement in the years ahead. We are immensely proud of you and your achievements, and we wish you success and good fortune always. I would now like to invite the Chancellor of the Durban University of Technology, Ms. Nonkululeko Nyembezi, to formally commence with the virtual graduation ceremony and to please constitute this congregation. Madam Chancellor.
Sanibonani and good day to you all. My name is Nonkululeko Nyembezi and I'm the Chancellor of the Durban University of Technology. By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor, I now constitute this virtual graduation ceremony for the Durban University of Technology. Let me start by expressing my warm congratulations to our newest alumni, the graduating class of 2020. I salute your accomplishments, particularly against the background of an exceptionally difficult final year. For some of you, you will be earning your undergraduate degrees, while for others, this will mark the culmination of your postgraduate and professional studies. I'm acutely aware that our actions to prevent the further spread of coronavirus will leave some of you and your families disappointed that you are missing out on the traditional ceremony of graduation. But I do trust that we now all accept the sacrifices that have had to be made in light of this global pandemic. As Chancellor, I'm always filled with immense pride during our graduation season. Your achievement, which is the culmination of years of hard work, is good news not only for you and your families, but for our country and our continent at large. I wish you continued success in the years ahead and take this opportunity to remind you that your success is highly dependent on the choices you make, the actions you take, and of course, good fortune. It is my utmost wish that you remain connected to this institution with your former classmates, your friends, your lecturers. Remain steadfast and confident in the knowledge that your DUT education and the relationships that you have forged here, the learning that you've received, and the experiences you've had during your time at the university will serve you well in the years to come. You are DUT for life.
Madam Chancellor, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Visual and Performing Arts honoris causa, I present Zanamvulo Zito Gatieni Mda. Zakes Mda was born in 1948 in Herschel, Eastern Cape. Zakes Mda is a teacher, painter, filmmaker, musician, poet, novelist, former Pan-Africanist Congress member, and recipient of the Order of Ikhamanga in silver in 2014 for his excellent contribution in the field of literature. Zakes Mda completed his PhD at the University of Cape Town. He also holds the MFA in theatre and an MA in telecommunications from Ohio University. Professor Mda is adjunct professor in creative writing at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Professor Emeritus of English at Ohio University, and guest lecturer in playwriting at Towson University for 2021 and 2022. Professor Mda is also a part-time beekeeper in the Eastern Cape, a project which he established in 2000 for and together with rural women who run it. Even at the tender age of 14, Zakes Mda's letters became famous for their lyricism and imagery. At recess, girls would sit under a tree and cheer and laugh and sigh deeply and vent exclamations of envy as they read one of Zakes' letters. When Zakes passed a group of giggling schoolgirls, it was not unusual to hear one of them utter a stage whisper to the rest, "There he is, the boy who writes such wonderful love letters." Zakes Mda wrote stories in the isiXhosa language from the tender age of 7. His stories were first published when he was 15 years old. He adopted the pen name Zakes Mda when he began writing. It was the death of his dear friend Xantho Mohepolo that left Zakes devastated and shocked. But that loss inspired him to write his first poem, Death of an Artist. In 1995, Professor Zakes Mda became dramaturge and writer in residence at the Market Theatre in Johannesburg. In 1996, he received the Olive Schreiner Prize for Drama. Zakes Mda was also Professor of Drama, Wits School of Drama, University of the Witwatersrand, Johannesburg. Professor Mda's books have been translated into 21 languages, the most notable being We Shall Sing for the Fatherland, 1979. The Hill, 1918. Ways of Dying, 1995. Melville 67, 1998. The Heart of Redness, 2000. The Madonna of Excelsior, 2002. The Whale Caller, 2005. Black Diamond, 2009. Sometimes There Is a Void, Memoirs of an Outsider, 2011. And The Sculptors of Mapamgubwe, 2013. Rachel's Blue, 2014. Little Sons, 2015. The Zulus of New York, 2019. We Shall Sing for the Fatherland won a special merit in the Amstel Playwright of the Year Award in 1978. The next year, he won the award. The Amstel Playwright Award was followed by the Commonwealth Writers' Prize, Africa, the Hurston Wright Legacy Award, the Sunday Times Fiction Prize, the Mnet Book Prize, and the Barry Ronge Fiction Prize. Professor Mda was also awarded South African Literary Awards Lifetime Achievement Award in 2010. The plays of Zakes Mda have been translated into South Africa's 11 official languages. This demonstrates the relevance and popularity of his literary works. Professor Mda currently resides in Athens, Ohio. He has an art studio there. He uses the art studio to paint intertextual collages that are exhibited in South Africa, USA, and Europe. He also uses the studio for all his writing, composing, and film direction. He's presently directing an animated feature film entitled The Price. He directs the animations, who are mostly based in Durban and some based in Johannesburg, from his art studio. He is also composing the music for this film in collaboration with choirs in Free State and a DJ in Johannesburg. In addition, he is co-producer of a movie based on his novel The Madonna of Excelsior, which is currently being shot in the Free State. Professor Mda is a very significant voice. He builds up his works layer by layer, place, person, customs, traditions, magic. He writes about ordinary people doing ordinary things. He writes stories that are sad, sordid, and even gruesome. But then, he pulls this multi-layered fabric together, each moment recuperated for a different kind of story. Stories of rebuilding, stories of liberation, as he cleverly offers his characters new choices and his audience a new vision. He calls himself an outsider, but he writes from the inside, profoundly and deeply, examining his own and our souls. He calls himself a professional dabbler, but he is a significant cultural commentator and social observer. He's a multi-layered fabric of playwright, novelist, composer, musician and filmmaker, teetotaler and part-time beekeeper. The older, wiser Zakes Mda is challenging, surprising, and cajoling us into absorbing his provocative and deeply moral message. Professor Mda's illustrious career has distinguished him amongst his peers. His work is an inspiration to many institutions all over the world and to everyone who has worked with him. Our students shall draw much inspiration from his life as a literary giant, activist, and academic. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Visual and Performing Arts honoris causa to Zanamvula Gazito Gatieni Mda.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Visual and Performing Arts honoris causa on Zanemvula Kizito Gatieni Mda.
Thank you so much for the introduction and the citation that even exposes the follies of youth. I'm highly honored by this honorary doctorate and grateful to the Durban University of Technology for it. I thank the Chancellor, Ms. Nyembezi, the Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor T.Z. Mthembu, the Chair of Council, Mr. Wiseman Madinane, and all the office bearers and executive management of the university. I so much would have loved to be at that campus in person for I have fond memories of a time that I spent there some 3 years ago when you so kindly invited me. And I had such wonderful interaction with some of your academics, students, and members of the community. I received enthusiastic feedback from students on my lecture on ancient African civilizations, such as the Nubian kingdom of Kush 3,000 years ago, the Aksum Empire 2,000 years ago, the Mende empires of Ghana and Mali, the golden ivory kingdoms of Mapungubwe, Zimbabwe, and Mutapa, the Zagwe kingdom or empire, because it was an empire, the Swahili coast of Kilwa and Azania, and the Yoruba empires of Ife and Benin. The latter was only destroyed in 1897, and its works of art were looted by the British invaders. Today, they are all over the United Kingdom, the USA, Japan, and Europe. We are still fighting. We continue to fight for their return to Africa. I am pleased to announce that, flowing from that enthusiastic reception of DUT students, I decided to expand that lecture into a book titled Arula, A Journey into 10 Ancient African Civilizations. The book will be launched in July this year. The objective is to explore that history of Africa that African students are never taught, even here in Africa. The history that they are taught begins with the coming of the white man. Before that, Africa is not supposed to have had any history. With this work, I aim to correct that. I aim to decenter whiteness. I believe that any anti-colonial project and decolonization process must begin by decentering whiteness. It is important for the black child to internalize a new mindset that we have not always been slaves. Our history does not begin with slavery and colonization. And now for the event where you have honored me so much, do I have a word of encouragement for this graduating class? I have none whatsoever. I know that you will be all right. Now, our fathers were of a protest generation. We ourselves became the generation of resistance. Our methods very much distinct from those of protest. My generation, the generation of resistance, won you the freedom. Unfortunately, we also became the generation of grifters, of nepotism and patronage, of utter corruption. It is my generation that is busy destroying this country. as we speak. Your generation, hopefully, is the one that is going to liberate this country from us, from my generation. I do not worry about you. Your generation is showing its mettle already. Young people have taken their lives into their own hands and are kicking open doors that were previously closed to us. Without waiting for any manna from government heaven, they are active participants in international markets and arenas at the highest level. I'm thinking here of young people, and the examples I'll be quoting are mostly from the arts, because that is my area of operation. Young people like Laduma Ngokolo, whose Maxhosa knitwear brands ranks with the best designer labels in the world. My daughter, Mpumimda, whose new creation is a shoe called Long Walks by African Minions, that is praised and receiving rave reviews for its novel design. Visual artists like Zanele Muholi, Chipape Mahatu, and Simpiwe Nzube, celebrated internationally. Entertainers like Nomzamo Mbata, Trevor Noah, Tusombedu, getting cast in major roles in the United States after competing with locals in auditions and acquitting themselves excellently. DJs like Black Coffee, rated among the top 10 DJs in the world, top 10 in the whole world. Popular rappers like Nasty C, who have broken into a tough overseas market, especially the market, the American market, which is normally and usually closed to the outsiders. Opera singers like Pumeza Machikiza and Pretty Yende, who are the toast of Europe. Dance maestros like Gregory Vuyani Makoma, and many others, many others, young men and women of action, innovators. All of them, and a lot of foreign exchange for South Africa. Go join their ranks. You'll be all right. I know you'll be all right. Thank you very much.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The further you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can't deny me, you can't decide to turn my face away. Something inside so strong, I know that I can make it. For you doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist that it's not just good enough, just good enough. Well, we know better. Just look them in the eyes and say, we're gonna do it anyway. 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 Sister Pungeleza, 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 something inside so strong. Something inside, something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. Something inside so strong.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degrees, diplomas and certificates to the candidates from the Faculty of Arts and Design who will be presented to you and whose names appear on the programme.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I confer the qualifications to the candidates who will be presented in this congregation and whose names appear on the programme.
As we conclude these online proceedings, may I thank our graduates for reaching this important milestone in their personal and professional development. All that is left, dear DUT graduates, is for you and nobody else, not your family, not your friends, not your professors, not your government, not business, not industry, to leverage the knowledge, the high-level skills, and the innovations that these should spawn so that you participate productively and gainfully in the economy, whether at local, regional, national, or global levels. The economy out there is not waiting to absorb you just because you are a graduate, but rather it waits for you to find and use compelling and innovative ways to insert yourself into it. May I thank the families and the sponsors of our graduates. They supported our graduates through thick and thin over the years. Some went hungry just for you to earn this qualification. Some of your siblings sacrificed so much to give you the opportunity you got, and that they may not have had and may never ever have. They all look forward to you putting your knowledge, your high-level skills, and the innovations these should spawn as you demonstrate those compelling and innovative ways you will choose to insert yourself into the broader society and its organs. Our ailing and COVID-19 battered economy awaits your innovations to turn it around. May I thank all of you, graduates, families, sponsors, for your understanding of these very difficult COVID-19 circumstances that forced on us an online graduation ceremony. We had all been looking forward to see you walk the stage with great pride. We had all been looking forward to hear those ululations. We must thank God, though, that we have alternative ways, including having this online graduation ceremony to celebrate. Our Chancellor, Madame Nyembezi, has always been generous with her time and support, attending as many graduation ceremonies as she possibly could. I thank her very much for availing herself to officiate online today. Finally, I thank our academics, faculty officers, the registry, for all the work they did under very difficult circumstances to process everything that was needed for our graduates to graduate today. I should also thank our corporate affairs, multimedia, technology, and many other sections of the university that worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this online graduation ceremony a success. All the best to you all. Okuhle nokumhlophe.
Israel is under
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I dissolve this virtual congregation of the Durban University of Technology. Thank you all.